Hello everybody, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and on today's video, Shift Now, Imagination is Reality. We have this understanding that there is something happening in lines with parallel reality experiences. As in, we have this idea that we are living on a certain timeline. It's an idea. And there's another timeline where another version of us is living a kind of what we call a dream life. And manifesting has become this thing where we want to jump from one timeline to another, or from that timeline to another, or from that timeline to an even greater one. While that idea is obviously experienceable, we wouldn't be able to articulate a version of reality that was not experienceable by someone or somewhere, right? So here's the thing. While that experience is true, it can't actually be the ultimate truth that everything just is. If all of existence just is simultaneously, that means the beginning of any life and the end of any life must coexist. They must exist in the same place, the same point. They can't be an actual elongated timeline of events that exist in this linear fashion where it unfolds over what we call time. It has to exist now. And the way that it exists is the way that we normally see things existing, especially on a two-dimensional screen that projects a three-dimensional experiencing of an image. Like the images I have on the screen now, everything exists superimposed onto each other. But if it were truly superimposed onto each other in the way reality has it, is being it, we wouldn't be able to see the variations to express them. That's how reality works. Any image there, it is a superimposed onto itself, knowing itself as only that, but also one with everything else. So the timeline is any one of those pictures expressed one at a time, while simultaneously just existing at the same time on top of each other. So you don't ever jump from one timeline to another, because that would imply something very simple, that your three-dimensional physical self can physically move from one timeline to another. Or if you do understand that is consciousness, your consciousness still doesn't move from one timeline to another. Your consciousness is being all timelines simultaneously. What you as a consciousness do is switch your focus onto the idea of the kind of life you are living. Which is why when you go about starting your experiencing of life, you have a lack of awareness. You have a lack of awareness of who and what you truly are. That's why you have the idea of, well, I started off with lack, I started off with this, I started off with that, then I had to work hard for whatever it was I desire or desired. I have to make my relationship work. I put the most amount of effort into it. I have to train really hard for the body and health that I want. I have to go along with the grind. But here's the thing, that's coming from a lack of awareness. Awareness is the creator of everything a timeline consists of. Now, this isn't to say that along a timeline there wouldn't be any kind of work, any kind of feeling, any kind of effort experiencing that identity. But it's not the effort to make that identity happen. There is no effort to make an identity happen. There is effort within the identity experience where that identity is experiencing the effort of its own existence. You go to the gym, you train really hard. You go for a hike, you're walking up hills very hard. You're climbing a mountain, there's climbers. You putting that Or rather, you are experiencing the physical effort that this physical identity is experiencing while it is living its life in the way it desires to. That's where the effort comes in. All of it superimposed right now. And just to give a little explanation of movement here, this is how it works. It's just moving effortlessly on itself. But what's really moving? You see, every individual image that makes up that a little snippet of a video are all individual snapshots of videos of So as consciousness observes itself, it creates the illusion of movement. That illusion of movement is what we call us living our life. It is the illusion of movement. You are choosing what illusion of movement to now experience as your physically focused self as reality. And how do you do that? Well, by recognizing your true self, I am, which is the only reality. Everything that exists, everything you see, touch, sense, or think is a reflection of your own I am right now. The 3D world that you perceive isn't something happening to your physical self. You aren't here and this is there. It's what you are being this instant. Each moment is a one-to-one mirror. Reality is showing you yourself because it's you. If you were to think about it like this, take for example your immediate three-dimensional moment. That exact thing, for the fun of it, shrink it down in your imagination and realize what you have shrunk down is what you are living inside. That exact one-to-one snapshot is what you are being. You are being that in it. That's what you are being. But reality on a whole is being that and everything else conscious of itself being it. Now, you can do this with your whole life and realize there's no later, there's no when it happens. Each snapshot of the universe is brand new, a complete state, a fresh output of what you are being right now. If you take the video, for example, if you paused it and you start the video from there, you would think, well, that's the beginning of the video without having any kind of knowledge of the beginning. You can always reverse it and keep creating it backwards and you think, well, that's the beginning now. That's how reality is. There's no beginning and there's no end. There's just it. At whatever point it is being, observing itself, being it. Even the tiniest change alters the whole picture, no matter how small it seems. What we call big events, won, lost, upcoming, cancelled, they are just clusters of the small state of changes that unfold automatically, no matter how small that change is. Now, reality never repeats itself because it has no purpose to do so. While a story is repeatable, the frame of your experiencing of it is not. Each moment, even the ones that look identical, is an entirely new configuration of consciousness. It's not that time passes and brings change. It is that change is experienced in what we call time, because it's moving from one frame to another. We're calling how many frames that went by a certain amount of time. Like watching an explosion slowed down to 0.0001%. What appears to take time is simply one eternal moment unfolding over and over and over and over and over. Basically, consciousness exploring itself. Reality does not care about duration because duration is not a real thing. It is the unpacking and unfolding of something completely. It unfolds perfectly as the expression of its own idea itself. And you are not the body. You've heard this 1,000 times. You are the awareness behind it, of it, as it, that is consciously being it. The you that says, my mind keeps wandering, which I've heard. I always thought it was really funny when people say this. Or my brain's thinking all of these thoughts. See, we inherently know there's something else of separation between what we are thinking and what we are being. Or who we are being, or who we are. That knowing is the real you. You are not the thoughts or the body. You are the one who is aware of them. The same awareness perceives the body and the environment with no separation. The same connection runs through both. Just like in the video here. Between me and the wall and the TV and everything else, The screen sees no separation between those things. It is your knowing that is creating the knowingness of separation between those things so we can experience those things. But the screen doesn't care. All the screen is doing is showing you what the image is, the coloration of the pixels. It makes no difference to it. Your body is not something to control. You don't breathe on purpose. You don't see on purpose. You don't digest on purpose. Even if many of us would like to. Right? 99.99% of it is handled automatically. The only real work that you do, the 0.001%, is to assume being the version you choose. Assume that you are who you choose to be. The assumption lights up the corresponding version of reality, the I am that you decide to be. And reality reflects your being, not your effort. Because the effort is a reflection of the identity, not a reflection of you having chosen something. What you experience is a one-to-one image of your current state of being, nothing more, nothing less. It has no meaning outside of the meaning you give it. If you see every circumstance as the perfect unfolding of reality, then that is what it is. Reality cannot be imperfect. Only our perception can appear so. Violence, struggle, or lack arise from the very lack and forgettingness of who we really are. The misidentification with limitation. When awareness reclaims its knowing, even the appearance of imperfection is seen as perfect. And no one is denying the existence of violence of any of that kind. I am saying it's coming from a lack of awareness of one's true self. Because if everyone knew themselves as love, what would happen? But you don't ever have to go and tell anyone to know themselves as love. You need to only see love. I believe that's the Course in Miracles. Now, why imagination is the only reality? You hear this over and over. In imagination, you cannot truly imagine not having. Think about that. In imagination, you can't imagine actually not having something. Even when you imagine the lack of something, you are having the experience of imagining it. You have the feeling of not having. You have the feeling of not having. Everything you can experience exists. Every potential state is. Imagination is reality because it contains all experiences of being. It is the infinite field of having and being every possibility. Whatever you assume in imagination, or you shifting to that experience by consciously choosing to be here, in the assumption that I am here, assumption that this is my choice, in the assumption that this is my physical reality unfolding, you must experience in 3D because the 3D is that assumption objectified. Unfolding is automatic. Shifting is automatic. You're always shifting, but into whatever you are consciously choosing to identify as. Because you only choose the state. There's your effort. The unfolding of what you imagine is not up to you. This is where people get a bit tongue-tied and twisted in understanding. Say, how can I make this moment better? You can't change this moment. You don't have to. You couldn't change the light that already came out of a torch or a light bulb. You change the light bulb, and that subsequently starts unfolding a new version of light that you desired to put there until you decide to put something else there. The unfolding is not up to you. You can't make it happen faster or slower. It's already automatic. Manifesting isn't forcing or skipping steps. Even when you want to change a light bulb in your house, you still have to go buy the light bulb. You still have to take out the light bulb. You still have to input the new light bulb. And all the while you'll be thinking, well, the lack of different light in my room is evident that I'm still in the previous reality. It's not true. It's brand new anyway. You have shifted. The unfolding will be self-evident. I am simply, or it is simply, or you are simply choosing the state and allowing it to play out in that form, because consciousness can only output what it is. It can't deny anything. I am that. Even not having is still I am not having, but it's always I am. See, consciousness literally cannot deny something. It can't put a stopgap between itself and what it outputs. It's continuously outputting everything. It has no reason to hold back anything. It literally has no reason to hold back a single event that it itself created, and you are itself that had it come into being as the creator. The only creative act is to choose what you are being right now. The rest is automatic, and automatic reflection. Reflection. So you don't change the reflection, you change the source. Reality doing what it always does, showing you you. Now reality is a reflection that we are experiencing, while also being reality as the thing that is being reflected. One-to-one, every instant. Much like a torch again, much like a light again. You don't change what the light already lit up. You light up something else. Time is not unfolding in a linear expression and things are happening within it. It's the unfolding of being, not the linear process we associate how long things take. The body is an automatic expression of your own state. However you desire it to be, it already is unfolding as. Control, assumption of identity, not physical effort. Physical effort is what the identity experiences as the identity, not to become the identity. Imperfection, misunderstanding of perfect unfolding. No matter what it looks like, it is coming from a perfect expression of reality. You may not like what it looks like, but accept it looks like that and agree that you are who you desire to look like as beingness, as a reality, and that is what must be unfolding for your experiencing of it, because you decided it so. Imagination is the infinite field of being. The manifestation is the automatic output of the assumed state to which you have consciously chosen to shift into by making a decision. Your decision is you automatically shifting to whatever by simply imagining and assuming that I am who I have imagined myself to be, because I am the only power in my specific perception, perspective, and knowing of reality, because there is one power and I am one with that one power and I am that one power. And I am your host, Reese. This is Reach Your Reality with Reese. Thank you all for being here. Much love and much light. Thank you for the comments, questions, shares, likes, subscriptions. Feel free to drop a question in the comment section or send me an email anytime. Thank you for joining the TikTok page. Thank you for joining the Facebook group. Love and light, and I'll see you all in the next one.